them a little bit later, but I wanted to touch on Chelsea while Don is still here with us. They obviously started very well yesterday, almost like the complete opposite to the Wolves game. You started well, you took the lead, I think you looked really comfortable at home. Good performance in the middle again. Mudryk looking dangerous. Second half, it was very similar to last season where the midfield couldn't get hold of the ball. You leaked lots of opportunities. And then right at the end, maybe the celebration kind of come back to haunt him a little bit. Jackson misses two really big chances to win you the game. What was your overarching thoughts on Chelsea's performance yesterday?
Yeah, bro, it was a game of two halves, right? And this time around, it wasn't good because obviously against Wolves, it was a very good performance in the second half. But, bro, the first half, like you're saying, we controlled the game. You know, Palace didn't do anything to Sanchez, in all honesty. We had some very good chances, bro. Mudryk had two good chances that he should have been burying in reality. You had Cole Palmer had a chance as well. So I was looking at the game. Obviously, Jackson scored, and I was comfortable. I said, "Yo, we need to go into the second half now and make sure that we actually score quite quickly." Because one thing about us, we don't like 1-0 leads, Terry. We don't know how to manage the game and just see out a 1-0 lead. We're just not at that level yet, you know. And before you know it, you know, the same sort of pattern I'm seeing in that little hole there, just outside the 6-yard box. The amount of goals I've seen where the attacker just shoots from there and scores is not a coincidence anymore. It keeps happening, bro. Right? Eze's done it. The guy that plays for the guy that's captain for Burnley, he did it against us last season. There's been a couple players that I've just shot from outside there and it's gone in because no one's really pressing them, you know. So for me, Maresca's got to sort that out because the balance right now in that midfield at times can be off. You know, people look at Enzo Fernandez, some people look at Caicedo. He still hasn't worked out, you know, that partnership at the moment. Obviously, we're missing Lavia, who's a big player for us. Massive miss because we can all see what he brings to the team, you know. But they really need to sort that out because we can't be having one half where we're controlling the game and the next half it looks like we've forgotten how to play football. Like Palmer in the second half was poor. Neto was nowhere to be seen in the second half. Mudryk came on, looked a little bit sharper than him, to be fair. Mudryk in the second half, non-existent. You know, Enzo was very sloppy on the ball. You know what I'm trying to say? The only two players I can look at yesterday, all game, that were very good was Colwill and Fofana, right? And that goes back to what I've been saying about them. I don't think they're as bad as what we've been seeing. It's all about building chemistry. And now the more that they're playing together, it seems like they're building that cohesion and that chemistry. But our attackers yesterday let us down, bro. That's what it was. We had 5 big chances. They had 0, and we scored 1 goal. It's not good enough. You know, it's not good enough. Even in the last second, Mudryk played it over the top to Jackson. Yeah, very good pass.
I saw a stat today that should be worrying for both you and Man United fans. Man United are massively underperforming our XG. We should have scored 5 more goals than we have. Where with yourselves, your XG is so small, but because of that Wolves game, you've overperformed it. Are you worried? Are you worried overall about the clear-cut chance creation in these games?
Well, bro, we created some very good chances yesterday. Very, very good chances, bro. There was at least 3 goals that we should have scored before the second half. And that game's completely different. Because I went into this game predicting 3-1, right? And to be honest with you, that should have been right, bro. Because we had more than enough good chances to score at least 3 goals. So we go again. Because the in-game management in the second half wasn't good enough. He took off Neto and then brought on Felix. For me, Felix is not a touchline winger. He should have done like for like, brought on Mudryk. He brings on Nkunku, plays him right wing, which for me didn't work. I'd rather play Palmer right wing and then playing Nkunku down the middle.
Do you think he's got too many options? Like, sorry to cut you off. Do you think he doesn't know what his best front line is right now? Because let's be honest, you've got so many different options you can play. It's like a selection headache constantly.
Of course, yeah. At the minute, he's obviously got a lot of players that he needs to deal with. And for me, like I said, I'd rather have gone like for like because if you're playing against a low block Palace, 3 at the back, bro, it's hard to break them down. And Stamford Bridge is a small pitch. You need to stretch that pitch as much as you can. If you're bringing on Felix left wing, he's just going to close down the pitch. Yeah, Mudryk, like I said, when he came on, he was trying to take guys on and whipping in crosses as well. You know what I'm trying to say? That's what I wanted to see from both sides, you know? But end of the day, like I said, Maresca made mistakes in the second half and the players weren't good enough in front of goal. That was the main problem. Because defensively at the back, I thought we were good. But in the midfield, you know, in the second half, it was poor. It was poor. You know, I'm seeing certain parts in the game when Gusto came off, Enzo was picking up the ball as a centre-back. Because at this point, he threw on all the attackers, which I didn't mind, in all honesty, because Palace, they were just sitting back and saying, come break us down. And what's good for me, Terry, is the fact that even though they had a low block, we still created some good chances to win the game. It was all about our finishing. That was the main problem. It was our finishing, bro.
Exactly.
John, what did you think about the Will Hughes foul on Palmer? Do you think he should have gone?
Of course. You can't get turned like that, Kate, and then pull a man back, and the ref says no more. No, you gotta get sent off for that. And that's not the reason why we didn't win the game, because we should have.
No, but they took him off, brought Decory on, and the game changed.
Exactly.
Decory was really good. Yeah.
He was very good when he came on, you know. And I don't want to be talking about these things because our performance overall wasn't good enough. But you can't ignore that. That should have been a second yellow card.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yep, I agree.
I don't think that Chelsea can necessarily be shocked when these type of results happen with a guy like Nicholas Jackson up front, in the same way that we can't be shocked when we drop points when Nunes is up front. These guys aren't finishers. They will cost you games. I look at Nkunku, and Nkunku's a Golden Boot winner in the Bundesliga. And now I know that Jackson has good link up and he can hold up the ball. But if you're playing with a effective 3-man attack behind the striker, you shouldn't really need to hold up the ball, because you've got you covered all in that space and behind him. He should just be focused on getting in the right positions to score the goals. And Nkunku's a very good finisher. You don't win golden boots if you're not doing that. And to see him, I just think he's been mismanaged by Maresca so far in the Premier League. Anyway, God knows I haven't tried to watch your Serviette games, but
they were good. They were good games. I actually enjoyed them end to end. They were great. Genuinely, they were great games of football for a neutral to watch. People should watch it. It was really good.
But in the first game, he was out on the left wing. Then in this one, he was out on the right wing. He's a guy who needs to be in the middle. If not up front,
he's a victim of playing well in pre-season in multiple positions. If he didn't play well anywhere apart from centrally, he would only play centrally. But because in pre-season he was doing well, Maresca was in interviews saying, "Oh, he's intelligent. He can play on the left, he can play on the right. He can do what I need him to do." Blah, blah, blah. So like, it's kind of expected. But obviously, it's his third game. So if he mismanages someone, I'm not going to be shocked. This is one thing that I get it. Like, obviously, we've got to talk about it, but I'm not shocked that it's happened.
You know what it is from you. In the second half, like I said, he threw on all the attackers, right? And obviously with Palmer last game got a hat-trick of assists, and in the first half he assisted for Jackson as well. He was probably thinking, I need Palmer as close to Jackson as possible because they have a good relationship. That's why I'm going to play Nkunku on the right. But for me, Nkunku can still create. Maybe not as good as Palmer, but if you play him behind Jackson, I think they can have a good link up between them, bro.
If I was Chelsea manager, I would be trying to. Neto's got to go out on the left, because if Cucurella's inverted, you need someone out on the left to hold width, and Neto is one of the best.
Wasn't inverted.
He wasn't inverted. I think that's how you get the best out of him, getting him into those areas. So Neto out on your left. I think Palmer needs to go out on the right to operate in the half spaces, right? Because I think that's where teams can get hurt most, and you want your most dangerous players in those positions. And I think that you need to experiment with a Felix and Nkunku duo, where because they both play a similar role, they should have a good enough understanding that when one goes, one stays, and rotate around the other way.
That's going to be a headache, bro, because if you're inverting someone, what's going to happen is, for example, let's say you invert Cucurella, he'll run back, when we lose the ball, and in Nkunku and Felix, bro, to come back and help as a pivot, that's a headache in itself. That's why he's been playing Caicedo or like a Lavia, so they can actually do something in that role, if that makes sense.
Yeah, Tom's
saying he should play. You should play Nkunku and Nkunku and Felix as a 10 and a 9.
Yeah. If you're defending in a 4-2-4, they're your two guys at the spearhead of your 4-2-4.
Oh, bro, listen. I don't like Nkunku as a 9. I'll be honest with you. It makes it very easy for the defenders. They just push up because he doesn't really stretch the pitch. He wants to be on the ball, so he wants the ball feet every single time, bro.
Play him in the 10 then.
Doesn't run the channels like Jackson or even Gil, right? That's the problem with playing Nkunku up top. Yes, his finishing is better than all of them, right? One of the best finishers in the team, but it's very easy to mark him when he's playing up top. That's the problem I've got with him playing as a 9.
So that's why you play two of them. It's easy to pick one up, and especially I felt at times last year when he was up front in the limited time he got, because he would have Conor Gallagher behind him, and Gallagher's not a smart footballer in that sense. He can't draw markers away. If you're playing Felix and Nkunku, they're two players marvelled for their game IQ.
What formation is that? What do you mean? What, like a 4-2-3?
No,
yes.
the same formation we're playing, but you're playing put Palmer on the right, and then
Palmer instead of Madueke,
and then
Nkunku instead of Palmer's position, then Felix up top, or the other way around if you want.
4-2-3-1 then is what you're asking for, pivot and a 10.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Look, it all depends, innit? For me, listen, you're moving Palmer to the right. For me, he's best centrally. You know, you're taking away the direct wingers that Maresca likes on both sides. I'd rather see someone that's running at their man on that side. That's why I like Mudryk on the right. You know, I'd rather see Neto running at their man. But I don't want to see Palmer touchline, bro.
What's going to happen when Reece James comes back? Because I feel like to get the most out of Reece James, you kind of effectively want to give him the right-hand side. And you don't really want guys getting in the way there because you want Reece James to be sort of bullying that entire right-hand side of the pitch and having it on his own. Yeah. If you've got Madueke playing there, Madueke is just going to kind of get in Reece James's way.
You'll start right back.
Yeah, so when you're attacking and Reece James is bombing forwards and Palmer's on the right, Palmer can tuck inside, and then all of a sudden you've got all the zones you want covered. Mm-hmm. I feel like if you're playing Madueke and Reece James, I feel like they're both going to try and occupy similar positions until Madueke gets the ball. That's when he'll come inside. I don't think Madueke can operate it centrally enough to get the most out of Reece James. If you're playing Gusto, it's okay, because Gusto isn't necessarily bombing on as much. That's not necessarily the point of his game he's after. But if you're bringing Reece James back in, I feel like Palmer on the right is probably the best bet to fit everyone in and to maximise the most out of everyone. Because Palmer's a good enough player to do both. You do make a good point. If you do play Reece James there with Palmer, then obviously Palmer can be getting the ball and then Reece making the overlaps. You play him in behind. Palmer gets back into the right half space. That does make sense, innit? You know what I'm trying to say? But I don't see Maresca prioritizing Palmer on the right. I think he's going to prioritize him centrally. That's the main focus. For me, he's the best creator on our team. So I like him down the middle, man.
Do you know what's interesting about it? And again, I'm just throwing this out there to play devil's advocate. Palmer is your best attacker. But maybe there's the problem that you've got. I'm not saying the best attack you could have doesn't have Palmer in it. I'm not trying to make it sound like that. But in terms of making it the most cohesive and most gelled, there is going to be a casualty or two. There may be a player that you say, well, he's our first best or second best attacker. But actually, to make the chemistry work, maybe there's got to be a sacrifice somewhere. That's the one thing about the kind of you got Sancho to add into this mix as well now as an example. I mean, there's reports today that you guys offered Mykhailo Mudryk to Arsenal on deadline day, which tells me that again he's right down the pecking order now. Sancho's come in the same as Sterling was. So I'm intrigued.
Apparently, that's what Fabrizio.
I agree. I think he's. I mean, I remember Ches saying in the group chat he'll be a good backup for Mudryk. He's never going to be a backup to Mudryk. He's Sancho's little. Mudryk's when he's injured, he's better than Mudryk. Like Don, you're better than Mudryk. You are better than you do better. I've seen videos of you play. You would do better in the Premier League than Mykhailo Mudryk. You would. Bro, I'm not even joking.
He is more brain than Mudryk, but
he is worse than Bebe at Man United. Genuinely, he's worse.
This is the irony of it. Yeah, we played on some B&M fake like pitch the other day. Yeah, you know the grass you get from B&M and Argos and that. That's what they put down when we played Servette. Yeah, Hackney Marshes, Mudryk. Yeah. Was him and Nkunku were our two best players against Servette in a pitch that shouldn't be played on by professionals earning this much money, bro. Right? You put him on carpet. There's times he runs off as if he's never played football in his life. You know what I'm trying to say? He's up and down, bro. He's up and down. But I'll be honest. Last game, he was one of our better players, and against Servette, he was one of our better players that game as well, bro.
I think you know you've got when it comes to Mykhailo Mudryk, Don. You've kind of got. I get it because we all have players at our clubs like this. I had it with a player we had once upon a time called Obertan. I
remember him. He went Newcastle, innit?
He was Pup, but I had so much hope he would turn into a good player. I would hold on to any little good thing that he did.
Oh, Terry, it's
the
not
problem
about
the problem is with Mudryk. Mudryk can have some good runs. He'll do some good flicks, and then he'll cut inside for a shot, and he literally kills seagulls. Like it's mad every time.
I know.
And when I look at your team now, you've got Sancho light years ahead of him. Pedro, light years ahead. Palmer, I'm not even doing a comparison. Every other attacker you've got is light years better than Mykhailo Mudryk. He's just not going to get a chance to kick a ball. All I'm saying is that I don't know the answer to Chelsea's attacking solution, but be prepared for a player or two that you all like to be sacrificed, because that's normally what happens.